Buju, Wago Shindagu, Migizi and Dodame, Minawa, Gaza Gasquaji Mekog, and Dunjaba. This is Gimiwan right here, Mishi Dunade. And he's going to share a little bit about his work trying to build up future teachers of Anishinaabe Mawin and talk a little bit about his nonprofit and invite you all to think about what comes after your university college education, because we need you all in the language revitalization universe. So miigwech, give me one. Mushkegin gishpin we bejai no magema no madbien.
Now, Monday we up. Mute us, good now be done.
Mute?
Yeah.
Oh, the classroom things will pick you up.
Oh, you know,
You guys hear him good? Huh?
How? Kawai, give me one in the go. I got the wind the mango, a wagush, Mako and Nudem, Gamas, Wako, Nunjiva. And guys, the story to make Cog Nunjiva, and Mindigate that to the Gamas, Wako, we got touching the tower get one. I should go at that shooting with Schoonsing and Da. No piano with the Diane and Wayne and Wayne down Buscani in the pregame, modern piano man. I'm Gim, a longtime friend of Wagosh, call, I guess, friends, huh? Just kidding. Grew up in Cass Lake, Minnesota, right down the road, live in Wisconsin now. So it's funny, I tell people all the time, I get asked all the time, what do you do for a living? And it's always fun to look the way I do and say I'm a professional Indian. But honestly, for my entire adult life since I was 21 years old, I spoke Ojibwe for a living. I've done that in a lot of different capacities, primarily as a immersion school instructor, whether at Nigane, over at Buganagijit School, or Wadu Kadadi in Kudure. Also as a contractor, I write for Rosetta Stone. So if you are experienced with the Rosetta Stone Ojibwe and have ever taken a test or done a practice activity, or read an explanation, a lot of that's me sitting in my office on a spreadsheet. So happy you're enjoying it, if you're enjoying it. But currently I founded and run a nonprofit called the Midwest Indigenous Immersion Network. Call ourselves MEAN for short. You might be familiar with us. Any of you on our daily text list? Any of you get texts from us? Nobody? Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm just going to show you a couple things. Really why I'm here today is we like to stop by in the spring to different Ojibwe language classrooms in the region at a post-secondary level and let you guys know that, working with your language is an actual viable and much needed career pathway that all of you should be considering. I recognize a couple of you from last year, actually. But real quick, I just want to show you all a couple things. This, for example, represents our recent data from last year. Sorry about that. Recent data that we collected just last year from Minnesota Public Schools. What it shows, the map shows American Indian student population inside of Minnesota Public Schools. We got a huge response rate looking at where American Indian languages are taught, how many teachers were available, how many students inside of the state were taking coursework, etc. And there's some pretty neat breakdown right here, but really want to focus your attention is right in the middle, where we see that inside of over 2,300 schools in the state of Minnesota, we can only identify 54 individuals working with Ojibwe and Dakota languages, which means that they have about a 1 to 150 teacher to student ratio. So really, whether it be inside of a public school or an immersion school, or working with your language in a separate capacity like I do with Rosetta Stone or curriculum development, there really is a lot of needs for professionals who want to be working with language as a career all across the state, and not just in Minnesota, but really across the region into Wisconsin, Manitoba, and Ontario as well. I'll show you a real quick map of that. So here's our website, www.meanojibwe.org. It's real easy if you just remember that I am a mean Ojibwe. Give me one. Thanks, appreciate that. I'm gonna get you a shirt that says mean Ojibwe. That's good. If you want our daily text, we do send out daily text in Ojibwe. We have a little box down there, so sign up if you're interested. But our network currently consists of just Ojibwe immersion organizations, whether they be pre-K, adult, elementary, or community-based immersion. So you can see here that we have several in Minnesota, one in Wisconsin, and all these are links, right? You can click on any of these and go right to their websites. We're starting a new one here in Bayfield, Wisconsin next year. We've got one way over here on the Canadian side of Detroit in Walpole Island, a K through 5 immersion school. And then one way up here in Winnipeg, Seven Oaks Leadership Academy, which is a bilingual school. So, we're here from the Midwest Indigenous Immersion Network as representatives of all of those organizations who are in constant need of community members, who have a foundation in language and who are passionate about learning their language and about helping our communities regrow our languages. So just encourage you all to A, keep at it, right? Keep working on your language. Fantastic listening to you all. And B, if you're interested, reach out and explore. So we have a lot of resources available on our website, primarily access to all those different organizations who work with Ojibwe immersion in one capacity or another. And you can always get a hold of us as well via our website. I'm not sharing anymore. Via our website, right here under contact. So if you have any questions or you're looking for, to get in touch with somebody at one of these organizations or wondering about, that quick little glimpse of data I showed you all about where there are needs for language educators inside of the state of Minnesota public schools, feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to help you out in any way we can. Miigwech.
Chimigwech, Gimiwan. One of the other things I forgot to mention when we were introducing him, this is the guy who has developed most of the curricular content for Rosetta Stone too.
The teacher's guide.
Yep, and the 500-page teacher guides for each of the years that are published so far. So we've only got about 5 minutes left before we hit our clock, but would anyone like to ask questions of Gimiwan? Could be about anything related to what he just shared, Rosetta Stone, anything else. He's at your service.
So, Wagosh, Gimiwan. Did I hear correctly just now that there's actually a teacher's guide for the Rosetta Stone series?
There's actually 2. There's one for each release level, and we're just starting to write the 3rd level. So I'm gonna show you where to get those.
Oh, miigwech. I have to tell you, I really enjoy Rosetta Stone. I think it is absolutely fantastic and quite a step up from the Pimsleur series, which I started with.
I always preface my presentations about Rosetta Stone as this is not your uncle's Pimsleur.
That's true.
It's a lot more rigorous. So
yes, it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful.
We appreciate that, AG. I'll spread the word. Under leveled resources, if you go down to adult learning, and there should be right here, Ojibwe Rosetta Stone project, and there's a little link right here for teacher's guides. So you can click right on that hot link, and it'll bring you to the downloads to the 2 teacher's guides for level 1 and level 2. Yep, absolutely free, along with glossaries for each level, scope and identification of learning needs. And the 500 pages for each, they're roughly 500 pages, include about 150 lessons per level considered for use in high school classes where Ojibwe is taught, and include printable resources at the end that go along with the individual lessons.
Oh. Amazing.
Give me one.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Other questions? Did you know that Gimiwan used to be one of the teachers for Mindamuye in the Nigane immersion program at Leach too?
She was never in my class, but she was in the school when I was teaching kindergarten. But I was still her favorite teacher, right?
Yeah, you are all right. Just kidding.
Hard to beat Nabek, man. He's such a cool guy.
No, Saga was where it was at. No, I'm just kidding. But you said you're gonna give us all free shirts. That's cool.
Well, no,
Just kidding.
not at my joke. He's the
Hey,
only.
I laughed at your dad joke. I deserve one.
It's the only way they have a hope of passing my classes is if they laugh at my jokes, whether they're funny or not. Part of the game.
Margosh, we've been chatting about those teachers' guides, which are quite a revelation to know about. Can we get that link maybe posted into the chat?
Yeah, no problem.
Miigwech.
Yeah, really, if you look at, it's worth it a few minutes from your time. If you just go to the mean Ojibwe website, Gimiwan's going to drop this into the chat, and they have scaffolded resources. You know, they've been just trying to connect people who've been doing work for many years. You know, they kind of have tried to scope these out, like what works best for different grade levels or learning levels. So, like, just for finding more tools and resources and programs and things like that, it's really useful. There's also a jobs board on their website so that, you know, when you're getting like Ashley here, well, she wants to stay in Red Lake probably, but if she were to graduate now and look for an Ojibwe job, they've got all kinds of career postings for Ojibwe language positions across the US and Canada. So it's a great place to look if you're hitting a job market. Yeah, and like Wate here, he's also looking, you know, like he's going to be a full-time student for a few years, but he's looking for summer stuff to keep the language stuff going. So if you got any tips or advice for how someone can keep their language learning going in the summer months, there's people
How old are
interested.
you? So when I was that age, I would paint Anton's porch, and that's what I
He
do
was
for money.
exploited labor in the summer. Couple Ojibwe words and shot in the yard all day.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah, so if you want to cut my grass, that's a good way to learn Ojibwe.
Pretty particular about the grass, so be careful.
Yeah.
Not that my thoughts matter much, really, in the face of such august company, but I save Rosetta Stone for the summer. That's what I do. I park it after class, and I start in on it in earnest in the summer, and that's the way I can keep in the language. So that's what I do in the summer anyway.
So since you're a fan, I know that you guys are done with class, but I'll give you a quick sneak peek of level 3.
Show us level 3 before
Yeah.
it publishes. Yeah.
Just sign in quick. Oh, good.
Oh, I meant to screenshot your password.
Yeah.
And just drop it in the middle of your lesson plans.
Yeah, so level 3 is about done. We're starting final review this week. So which means, you know, it means we're almost done. And so we're starting to write the teacher's guide. They actually let me get 2 more writers on this year. The last 2 years have been primarily just me, and I'm super bored with it. So I'm serious. You ever write a teacher's guide, bro? Or 3? It's not that it's boring. It's just it's very
It's tedious work.
yeah, it is, and it's very monotonous work. So I really wanted to get some fresh ideas in there, so they allowed me to work with a couple other educators. Well, let's see, we left off at Unit 25, so hopefully you all have picked up on this, but level 1 is about the fall. So there's racing, level 2 is about the winter. So there's, you know, spearing and Adizukeng. And then once we get to level 3, it's spring. So we go into sugar bush and new plant growth, and Ogibakwe gets her driver's license. There's a lot of driving words, and going to the Sino, and then going to big drum ceremonies. So there'll be a lot of language around big drum ceremonies. And then of course we reserved our final lessons for our Wainabuju stories, going into Wainabuju and the Maples.
Miigwech for watching today. I'm Anton Troyer.